David Taylor III of the US may well face off against Abdulrashid Sadulaev of Russia in the 2024 non-Olympic weight class world championships at 92 kilos, in what I think is the most anticipated match of the tournament, and likely of the whole year, because this is a dream match. Have a multi-time world and Olympic champion of a weight class up against an Olympic champion and multi-time world level champion 2 weight classes up, fighting at the weight class in the middle. Well, the general consensus seems to be that Sadulaev likely beats Taylor. I said in my last video that I think Taylor beats Sadulaev. Here's why I think that way. First, I'll start off with Sadulaev. I watched Sadulaev wrestle off against Alan Blagiev to get the Russian 92 kilo spot. While there was no sign of the neck injury that forced him to withdraw from the 2023 Worlds, he didn't look great. While he did get a 4-point counter and then a 2-point chest wrap and then a takedown into a gut wrench to lead 10-2, he then gave up 2 takedowns and a step out later in the match for 5 points total to bring a 10-2 lead down to a slightly closer 10-7. This isn't to say that it was a razor-thin win by any real means, particularly as Sadulaev had a 4-point counter and the criteria advantage that came with it, so to win, Blagiev needed to score 4 more points, which, while not impossible, was always going to be unlikely. But it was closer than it should have been, seeing as how the only international accolades Blagiev has are U17 World Championships from 2017 and the U20 Championships from 2019, which, while pretty impressive, are nothing compared to Sadulaev's 2 Olympic golds and 4 world golds. If Sadulaev was wrestling at his best, he would have torn through Blagiev like a tissue in a hurricane. But he didn't, and I think a large part of that has to do with the extra weight cut, not just to 97 kilos, but all the way down to 92 kilos. While the difference between 97 and 92 kilos is the smallest men's freestyle weight classes, that's still a good amount. Extra big weight cuts decrease power and endurance, as studies have shown, which I guarantee hurt his ability to wrestle well and absolutely hurt his endurance, hence why Blagiev was able to score effectively late. I don't think Sadulaev will be at his best during the tournament, though, just in general, largely due to the extra weight cut down to 92 kilos. If it was 97 kilos, that would be completely different, but it's not. Now, let's talk about David Taylor. Taylor won out the whole bracket at the US World Team Trials, and while he did nearly give away a 6-0 lead against Trent Hidlay down to 6-4, he did manage to stop Hidlay's offense with a counter single leg takedown soon after to end up winning. In the final matches against 2023 world bronze medalist at 92 kilos, Zahid Valencia, he had a tight 3-3 criteria win in the first match, where they traded step-out points, and then Valencia got a clean super duck takedown, but then Taylor responded mere seconds after with a gritty go-behind to get a takedown of his own. After winning match 1 by the slimmest of margins, in match 2, Taylor went ahead, took Valencia down twice, and pinned him in the opening period. There were 2 ways to think about this. One, being that Taylor pinned a defending medalist and looked utterly flawless. The other is that if it was a one-match tournament, like Worlds, and where only the first match counts, and Taylor barely squeaked by, whereas Sadulaev won his match more handily. However, even if I would agree with that, which I'm not sure that I do, I think that beating a reigning world medalist in Valencia is a far harder match than a cadet and junior champion from 5 years ago in Blagiev. So I think by what we've seen of them recently at 92 kilos, Taylor's just looked better at the weight. I also want to briefly touch on my thoughts on Taylor's weight, as I did with Sadulaev. I think, unlike Sadulaev, Taylor will be a better wrestler up at 92 kilos than he was at 86 kilos, or at least he won't be undersized at 92 kilos. If you look at Taylor at 2023 Worlds, particularly compared to someone like Yazdani, he was a big 86 kiloer. He was just so much larger and so much more muscular that it was honestly kind of insane. In fact, I think one of the reasons he lost to Aaron Brooks at the Olympic trials earlier this year is that at 33 years old, he couldn't handle the cut as well as the younger Brooks could. But at 92 kilos, he won't have to deal with that cut very much, and so I think he'll be a better wrestler for that. Now, for some analysis. Without going too much into technical weeds, Sadulaev is, at least recently, essentially a defensive counter wrestler. If you look at his biggest matches recently, most of those being against Snyder, most of his points are counters from his opponent's shots. Taylor, on the other hand, is a very fundamental wrestler, using heavy collar ties, snap downs, and sharp shots with an excellent go-behind, after either a snapdown or after spalling out and defending his opponent's shot. I also think that given Sadulaev being weaker than he would be otherwise at 97 kilos, if Taylor gets deep enough shots, he will be able to finish them cleanly, like Bagayev was able to do at the end of his match with Sadulaev. I also think that Taylor's go-behind off of Sadulaev's shots will prove decisive, particularly in the second period where Sadulaev will undoubtedly be tired. I have no doubt that Sadulaev will be dangerous. His counters are really clean and incredibly sharp, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them work and he might even get into a lead by the end of the first period. But I think Taylor will surge back into the match into the second and win the match there. Overall, I think Taylor looks better and will be the better wrestler than Sadulaev. Thus, should Sadulaev and Taylor meet at the 2024 World Championships at 92 kilos, I think Taylor will emerge victorious. If you think I'm wrong and you think I have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to comment while you think so. I'll make sure to respond to it, and every other comment, really. But there's one thing that I think everyone will agree on, and that is, just hopefully this match happens. But if it does, I hope they are seated on the opposite side of the bracket, as if they meet, it feels wrong for it to be for anything less than gold.